I would say that today is another chapter in the What is Misogyny series, but quite honestly, many of these are just simply annoying, frustrating, or unintelligent. So maybe this would be better named Raise Sirens Blood Pressure for Your Amusement. I think that's a pretty decent name. I do think that this is at least somewhat enlightening or entertaining to the gender ideologies, so without further ado.
So I recently transitioned to being a guy, and I had a doctor's appointment recently. That doctor said I was pregnant. Doesn't make any sense because I'm obviously a guy. So I'm going to a second doctor now to get a second opinion, and I'll keep you guys updated.
Dylan,
Thank you.
you are 6 weeks pregnant.
That's not possible. I'm a man.
Before you became Dylan, you must have been Tasha. And Tasha must have been having relations in order to become pregnant.
She did, and then I became a man.
Well, now that you are a man, you're going to have to jump back in a position as a woman and become a mother.
Nope. I'm not going to be a mother, and I'm not pregnant. That doesn't make any sense. How can a man be pregnant?
Well, before your transition, things like that just don't go away. Like I said, when you transition, that doesn't just go away.
How is a man pregnant? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, technically, you're not a man.
Now, on one hand, I want to write this off as just being a prank or something, but I've genuinely heard people argue that, oh, I'm a woman now, I get periods. And they genuinely believe that is true. So I can't even write this off as being a prank, but I think it's so funny that the healthcare providers were trying their best to cater to her delusions while giving her the facts that you're pregnant. And then eventually it was just, I can feel it. I can telepathically connect with her. And in her mind, you just know this lady is thinking, wow, how can someone be this delusional and still alive?
I am a man.
I'm sorry to inform you, you have woman body parts.
Yes.
And you can give birth and you can...
How dare you? Where is your bedside manner?
I tried to have bedside manners, and I tried to tell you as a doctor that we have been going over the charts, and the chart states that you are 6 weeks pregnant.
How would I look walking around as a pregnant man? Do you know the ridicule I would face?
Go back over to Tasha then.
So I've never been a man. Even though people thought I was a man and people saw me as a man or a boy, I never was one.
See, and here's what gets me is that we were previously at a point where it was understood that this was a transition between living as a man to living as a woman. And it was an understanding of you are not actually a woman, you're just wearing the dress, you just want to be called one. It's a kindness we're doing to you. Now it is, we're rewriting biology and history and pretending that I never was, even though it's obvious that you are. And it's obvious to everyone who raised you. It's obvious to your mother. You could take a skin sample and it will be obvious. Doing a pee test at the hospital, they're not going to find any hormones that a female has. They're going to be able to tell your sex even if you're on hormones. They can tell your sex by looking at you. You were a man, you are a man, and you always will be a man. So why do you have to lie and pretend that? Why can't you just say, I want to live as a woman, here's the name I want to go under, blah, blah, blah. And even though that is offensive, at least that's not completely overriding what we know to be true. At least it's not pretending, at least that's not as delusional as saying I was always never a man.
I just got some of the wrong parts when I was born. And
also, this is kind of relating to that transhumanist mindset, to this mindset that's become more popular over the past couple years, where people spend more time online, where they think of their bodies as being separate from who they are. Your mind and your body are one thing. Your mind is in your brain, and your brain is in your body. You don't have the wrong parts because your body is you. So you might not like that you have a penis, and just like women don't often like that they have stretch marks or that they have fat in certain areas, but that doesn't mean that those stretch marks aren't mine. And it doesn't mean that penis, that Adam's apple, aren't yours.
So for me, I've always been a girl or a woman. I've just not been able to tell anyone about it until recently.
I don't have to tell anybody that I'm a woman because they can look at me and see that I'm female, because that is the only condition you need to be recognized as a woman, as to be an adult female human, which I am. If you have to force someone, if you have to tell them and explain, actually, I'm a woman, and there's no proof of it, and they just go along with it, you're not a woman. I'm so tired of these. I'm so tired of finding the same 10 delusional people, like just the 10 delusional arguments. You see the same ones over and over again. And I end up saying the same thing over and over again. Because what am I supposed to say to this? We all know that you're a man. We all know that you're male and that you can't become female and you never will be female and you're not a fucking woman. But we have to play this game of pretending, and I have to play this game of having to argue down people and let them know that biological sex is real. And this wasn't up for debate until like 15 years ago at the earliest, because no one at all doesn't know what a woman and a man is. We have evolved to be able to tell the difference between men and women. It's that simple.
I think for all those years, so I didn't come out as trans till I was 42. I'm 44 now. I think that a big reason I didn't come out earlier was because I was really worried I would lose friends and family, and I'm really glad to say that for the most part that's not been the case.
Interesting how you're such an oppressed minority group, but you haven't actually had to lose anything. Nothing's actually been taken from you, unlike, for example, interracial couples before you were allowed to date someone outside of your race, or a gay person coming out to their family. You didn't have any risk here and you didn't lose anything, because if anybody did stand up and say, I don't believe in this, they'd be the ones who'd be getting in trouble, not you.
She started letting us know that she was transgender really before she could even speak. She would do things like wear her sister's clothes.
Because God forbid your child not be gender conforming. God forbid your child explore things that are not specifically gendered to the sex that they are. I mean, in the 90s, we were letting kids play with Legos and didn't have girl Legos and boy Legos. And now here it is, oh no, our son wore our daughter's dress, and that must mean he's secretly a girl inside. Or he just liked the fabric, he just liked the color, he just liked dressing up. And instead, he's never going to really get to explore that side of himself because he's going to be forced into this role of trans child, trans girl. And most likely you're going to end up with this child who's never going to reach his full potential because of puberty blockers. His IQ will never reach what it could have been. He's going to end up being sterile because you're going to put him on hormones and puberty blockers. You are going to never let this child blossom into who he could be because when he was a baby, he wanted to play in his sister's clothes. And how is this supposed to be progressive?
Pretend that towels were her long hair. And when she was about 3 years old, she started to withdraw and become depressed. So we started doing some research. We talked to her pediatrician.
Maybe the reason why your son was becoming depressed is because you were treating him different because he was gender non-conforming. It's literally as simple as children can tell when you treat them different. And if you were so concerned of him wearing his sister's clothes and putting a towel on his head, I can't imagine how you actually treated him in response. And I guess the idea of Millie's secretly a girl is more palatable to you than the fact that you had a son who liked feminine things, which he could have very well grown out of. And if he didn't, who gives a shit? Who cares? It's a child playing dress up. Who cares? Why are you ascribing meaning to this meaningless thing?
Trans woman to have a successful uterus transplant, ovaries and eggs included, and I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion.
You are never going to see this in your lifetime because, first off, the study that they're referring to required a female rat to be surgically stitched into a male rat who had the transplant. Secondly, they are still having issues transplanting uteruses into women. They've had a couple successful pregnancies, but it's not like you just put a baby in there and then it grows by itself. The baby is built from the bones of its mother. There are hormonal differences that change over the course of its growth to make that baby grow up in a healthy form. We still don't know all about pregnancy. We still don't know why certain things happen. We still don't know how every step works. So there's no way that you could just take a shot and have a uterus and think that's going to work. And then thirdly, where would the baby come out? You'd have to have a C-section, but there's not even any room for the uterus in your body because you don't have the hips for it. You don't have the organ placement for a uterus or to carry a child. So on top of all of that delusion, on top of all of that, you want to have an abortion? Do you think an abortion is just this fun little thing women do because it's so liberating, it's so fun and freeing? An abortion is a medical procedure to ensure that you don't have an unwanted pregnancy, which changes your body permanently. It's not a fun little thing you go out to do that's gender affirming. And that's what gets me really upset about this, is that the fact that he says, I want a uterus transplant and then I want to have an abortion. Why? Because it's gender affirming to you? Why is that affirming to you? Why is that something you're fetishizing?
I will let a doctor who has successfully transplanted a uterine complex before cut the organs out of a willing, healthy, transmasculine donor.
And you know what? That's the other side of things. Women who are always saying, you can have my uterus, like it's some kind of thing you can just throw away with no consequences. The uterus holds your organs in place. It's a regulator of all hormones, not just pregnancy. It's important for mood. It's important for warding off dementia, osteoporosis. Do you want early menopause? Because that's how you get early menopause. That's how you end up with early onset dementia. It's not like we're freaking Barbie dolls where you can just switch out arms and heads and legs like whatever. It's a part of your body. It's a part of a system. You can't just take it out without any consequences, just like you can't just put it in another person without any consequences.
Place them in my body. I will devote myself, heart and soul, to their aftercare. I will have as much gay sex as it takes with as many trans women as it takes, and let the transphobes and homophobes scratch their heads, wondering what to make of it. And I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion.
And you know what? That's another thing that really gets on my nerves is this presentation of like, I just want to piss off other people. I just want to go against the politics of my parents. And that's how you get a generation of people who have this very surface level counterculture because they don't actually know what they believe in. They don't believe in anything. They just believe in pissing off their parents and pissing off people they don't like. And you know what? If you want to go die from a stupid procedure that you will undoubtedly have complications from because it's an organ that's not meant to be in your body. It's one that's a highly controversial and not yet normalized procedure. And then you want to get an abortion. I mean, the women who have successfully had a pregnancy with a transplanted uterus had to have the uterus removed after their pregnancy. So you would end up getting pregnant, aborting, and then having to take the thing out anyway. And then you would probably get sick from the side effects of having unnecessary and invasive medical procedures. But you know what? I don't really care. If you want to do that, go ahead and die from it. But I just find it incredibly interesting how the motivation for this is I want to have an abortion because it's something that's offensive to people who I don't like. As if having an abortion is just something that's so easy. It's a lack of understanding for why women undergo what they undergo. It's a lack of care for life to willfully have unprotected and unsafe sex for the purpose of getting pregnant to later abort it. You are the thing that... You are what's wrong with the world. I'll leave it at that.
I promise I can help him get home and then you'll never see me again.
You're assuming he as a pronoun.
True. Yes, sorry, good point. Are you he or she or they?
My chosen pronoun is the definite article. I am always the me.
Oh, I do that.
And I apologize for that one because I couldn't make the audio any higher, but what really, really gets me is that there is no escape from this. I can't watch a TV show. I can't read fan fiction. I can't go on social media without running into this regressive, homophobic, sexist ideology. And I can't even complain about it publicly on those forums because the minute that I do, I end up having a bunch of people complaining to me that I'm the one in the wrong. I'm the bigot. I'm the transphobe for saying that every masculine woman on TV secretly being a boy is regressive. I'm the one who's in the wrong for any feminine man actually being a woman on the inside. I'm the one in the wrong for being upset that I can't go anywhere without someone asking me to pray with them, because that's what this is. This is religion. You are asking me to partake in your religion. And it is just as annoying when it is, what are your pronouns, as it is when someone asks me what church I go to or if I'll pray with them over dinner. And at the very least, I don't get asked that nearly as much. This weekend, I went to karaoke, as I always do, and my friend and I were at the bar, we're drinking, and these gay guys behind us, I come back from the bathroom, and he asked, what's your pronouns? And I don't want to start something. It is a Saturday, I'm here to karaoke, they otherwise seem nice. I'm she, her, I'm a woman. When I text my friend about it, like, why did he ask? Oh, he already asked me what your pronouns were. So he asked her, she told him she's a woman. And then I had to ask me, because apparently having short hair and wearing sweatpants means I'm not female anymore. I can't go out for a drink without getting a break from this idiotic ideology. And the other side of it is, I also have conservatives coming to me at the bar trying to tell me that maybe the reason that you're gay is because you didn't have a good man in your life. Maybe your dad wasn't good enough for you. At least that I can openly complain about. At least that I can openly say this is homophobic, I'm tired of hearing it. But I can't do the same thing for transgender ideology. I can't do the same thing for gender ideology because it's supposed to be progressive. It's supposed to be the right side of history. And if I complain about it, then I'm the bad guy. This, dear viewers, is where we part. I apologize for the late video and for not posting much last week. One of my cousins died in a car accident last week, and I just did not have the energy to deal with it. I do have some upcoming projects that I'm really excited to share with you. I'm almost done with the first episode of the podcast that I mentioned earlier this year, and I'm hoping to get started with a fanzine, which I've tried to get off the ground last year, but I think this year will be my year. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, leave them in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.